Hello everyone. In a short while, we shall witness a one-of-a-kind performance, a yoga demonstration by noted Bharatanatyam and renowned yoga exponent Yamini Muthanna. Yamini has been committed to yoga for over 3 decades. It was in 1988 that she met Yoga Visharad Sri B.N.S. Iyengar and started learning Ashtanga Yoga, a system outlined in the Yoga Sutras. After having studied Ashtanga for 22 years, under the able guidance of B.N.S. Iyengar, Yamini started her own yoga learning center, which is called Yogasthala. Her book, The Power of Yoga, published by Om Books International, delves into the deeper aspects of yoga, including the basic principles and aspects of Hatha Yoga, the chakras, mudras, pranayam, etc. So it's not just a theoretical, but a very instructional, practical, user-friendly book, which I would urge all of you to buy a copy and get it signed by our author, who shall be performing here in another 5 minutes or so. The book also features many asana sequences which are therapeutic and performed with technique and care. Now I would request Yamini Muthanna to take over and lead us through all the sequence patterns, the asanas. Is the music? How did it come about? What was the journey like? Walk us through the journey.
It all started when I began yoga way back in 1985. I started yoga then, met Guruji. I did not think that I would be writing a book or I would delve so deep into the practice. But as I started my learning with Guruji, there were a whole lot of things which I kind of learned first of all, and eventually recognized it in my practice also. So as this is a very ancient traditional practice, it's very difficult for us I mean, it's very theoretical in the beginning. So experiencing it takes a long time for us to actually, what do you say, feel it.
So was this book an attempt to demystify the ancient text of yoga and make it more contemporary?
Absolutely, because the texts of yoga, as in traditional texts of yoga, are all in the form of shlokas, which is in the form of aphorisms, which is very difficult to understand. If you understand it also, to experience it, there is a technique which is required where you have a guru to teach you the techniques. So as I learned with Guruji for almost 30 years, no, actually I learned it for 15 years with him every single day of practice. The experiences which I went through and the theoretical aspects of it which Guruji used to explain. I mean, theory is easy to understand from the brain, but when you have to experience it physically, you need practice for it. You need to do a sadhana. You need to do, as in practice.
And also
so this practice is this practice which I felt that I want to share, because it's a practice which is experienced. I mean, it's something which I've experienced, which I would want to share it with.
So if you could talk a little about the structure of the book, how it has been divided into sequence patterns and asanas, so that it fits the lifestyle habits of today's yoga practitioners, whether they are new to the field or whether they are regular practitioners. So if you could talk about that, the sequencing. It's not related to just weight loss, but it's also about emotional well-being and things like that.
Yeah. Yoga per se is something to do with how you work with your mind. So mind is given major importance. Along with the mind, slowly we start moving on to how the mind and the body should stay in coordination. So this is basically the what do you see? The synopsis of the whole book, where I'm trying to make people understand or make the readers understand that this connection is something, has a technique, has steps, has stages in which you need to understand it.
And it also has a dynamic flow because one posture flows into the other and then,
Yes. Yes, actually there are a few things which is very, very important to be understood before a practice of yoga, if anybody would want to start off yoga. What exactly takes place? It looks like exercises, it looks like stretches, it looks like you're working on flexibility, it looks like you're working on strength, it looks like a format of exercise. But what is required to make it a yoga asana is when you are putting in an approach to it, when you have an attitude behind it, you need to understand what is required to be thought when you're doing this particular movement.
So the demonstration that we are going to see today is based on the vinyasa flow.
Yeah.
So if you could talk about that.
Okay. So asanas, each asana has got therapeutic value. Right. It can address certain. How does it do? How is it a therapeutic? I mean, how does it get into a therapeutic mode? Is the body's anatomy is very well taken into account in the asanas, though it was done 5,000 years back. Though the people did not have Google to check in the anatomy, did not have X-ray machines, but it was all set in from antargyan, in the sense of by meditation. Right. And getting internal into the length of the body and just checking what's happening inside. So, I mean, I wouldn't want to get into
the synchronicity of breath is paramount.
Absolutely.
Because every movement, every posture
space inside the body, yeah. So that creates space inside the body, and we get into different forms, imitating creatures basically, and each form addresses certain length of the certain meridian of the body. So that meridian of the body gets activated when you do this when you do the asana, and that's how it kind of starts showing results of. Say, for example, for diabetes, you need insulin. Marichasana is one of the asanas which kind of produces insulin. So it targets on triggering that point, like a pressure point, and releases the chemical required for.
Right, but many people, they really understand the benefits of doing yoga in the 21st century and how it really affects the body, etc. But how do you inspire them to start, to begin? So how do we get to that struggle, overcome that struggle of beginning? Everybody is aware that yoga is important, is necessary, but to inspire yourself to start, that is where the problem is.
So that's how the book came up. So that is basically to inspire to start, because it's not, if you notice, the book is not very elaborate. It's all on bullet points. It tells you the actual benefits of what is happening and how actually you need to do it without going into the details of it. So this is one of my steps towards encouraging people to, step into the practice of yoga. Other than that, well, I speak about the benefits which I have went through from the time I was a teenager, through my different stages of womanhood. I also started teaching where I have so many examples of therapeutic experience by my students. Well, I do keep talking about it, and this is a fantastic platform. I thought, platforms like this would, help me promote. I didn't have to promote the practice of yoga. It's just to inspire and just to maybe remind them that there is something like this which will help you, get comfortable with life.
So what we are going to see today, will it be easy to emulate once we go back after the session, or is it one of those very difficult?
Well, it's a demonstration, so I guess I would do it as a demonstration. Well, the practice or the flow which I have in mind for today is going into where you can reach with your body, progress into this stage of practice. So I would be starting with a very simple routine, which kind of slowly gets into an advanced practice, which you can just watch and
So I think we should
maybe get inspired.
Let's start with the demonstration.
Right, thank you.
want some Surya Namaskara sequence. Okay. Okay, I will understand.
Stand. She wants to see the Surya Namaskar again. Oh, okay. Yeah? Okay. You can come there.
Thank you, Yamini Muthanna, for such a scintillating demonstration. I would urge all of you to head to our bookstall, hall number 11, F52. Get yourself a copy of The Power of Yoga, ask your questions, and get your copy signed. Thank you.